Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, episode number 335 on deck. We're going to be catching up with Dustin Woods in a little bit here. We're going to be talking about the absence of news, as it were, and how it has been a week that has sort of sucked the wind out of our collective sails here in the Northeast and sort of across the country. It's just been one of those weeks where we're eyeing Christmas coming up a short 5 days away, and it just, I don't know what it is. I just can't get into it. It doesn't feel like Christmas, and some of the stuff that happened over the course of the weekend is taking us steps backwards from that as well.
Yeah, 2020 started out shitty and has only gotten worse. I'm ready for it to be over. Hopefully things, they're rolling out this vaccine. Hopefully that's going to make things better.
It is cold enough to keep the vaccine healthy in
this
the
room.
Icebox, yes.
Yeah. So we want to extend our deepest condolences to Sciopa Racing. The loss of Big Wayne last week. I talked to Todd a little bit, and Big Wayne was kind of Todd's left-hand man. They were kind of always together. Mm-hmm. So Wayne was a great dude, always happy, always smiling, joking, just a great guy to know. It's going to be very strange, seeing the Sciopa crew without Big Wayne there. Just a great guy. If there wasn't enough hurt in the community and in the world, we got a little more in. So, and
the Menard family suffering some loss over the
so
course of the weekend. We saw that, and Eric Moulet also.
Yeah, Eric lost his dad, right?
Right, and it's just that layer upon layer continues to stack up. Bryce Leno, he's suffered some loss now on top of everything. It's just been not exactly been the build up weekend as it probably should be. Some bright lights, some high points there though. Jeremy Gully celebrating a birthday.
Yep.
And God bless him. Martin was there to celebrate it with him,
yep.
which that is certainly a highlight, given the way some of the weeks have been. So that was good to see. And Josh Buell celebrated another wedding anniversary, so that was good.
Can you believe somebody puts up with him? Just getting that out there. Happy anniversary, Josh.
Deckard had his birthday. I don't know if you saw that. He ended up celebrating his birthday by going to the finals in the tournament at one of the casinos and won that. So, and then I think Katie hit for like 375, which will buy some flowers at the flower shop for Sir. So that was good. But the thing that sort of hangs over top of all of this though is the passing of Big Wayne. And I remember one of the first times I met Big Wayne, I was pretty sure he was going to throw me out. We're setting up at it was at Bash for Cash. We were in the Sciopa Pavilion, and I think that might even have been a Washington Courthouse. Before we even got to
it was the first. It was the first time we went down there,
and
as Crash Course.
and Todd said, just stand on the back of the trucks and do your thing, whatever. And he wasn't letting us within 10 feet of that truck. It was really cool to get to know him, and he had the appearance on the Derby T-shirts. Remember when they had those shirts done, and Big Wayne was on the back of those, and it was just.
They actually put out a in memorial T-shirt of Big Wayne as well.
Yeah,
that was on Facebook this weekend. So, yeah, man, I'm ready for this all to be over and for everybody. I mean, so many people have suffered so much loss, and I guess hindsight 2020. People experience loss every year, but I don't know if it's because of the social media or what, but it just seems like, it's more magnified. And just adds on.
Well, you can't do anything with it the way that you used to be able to, because of all of the at least in New York anyway, with the restrictions on congregations and indoor gatherings and stuff like that. It just doesn't allow the closure.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the person that inadvertently does carry something to somebody, so you don't go see the people that you probably would want to go see otherwise. So you don't see them, and then they end up tragically passing, and it just doesn't stack up well. Our audience tonight, sharing some thoughts. Greg Mayerberry lost his brother at the age of 49 this year, which I had missed that. Scott Kiefer, he's checking in. Nick Stepik, Ed Brewster, all wishing Merry Christmas. It is nice to hear from those guys. Try and turn the corner a little bit.
Absolutely.
I was at Walmart braving the people of Walmart, and I tell you what, we could have made some posts to the pages. People of Walmart.
Goodness.
So that was always fun.
It's always entertaining.
Yes, to say the least. Some chaos ensuing over there. Thankfully, it didn't come to blows.
Yeah, Walmart's always good for entertainment. That's for sure.
I'm not sure if the baseball bat that gentleman was carrying was something he purchased as a Christmas gift, or he just carries it around looking for reasons to beat people with it.
Oh, there is some Grinches out there, that is for sure.
And to add a final note, I don't know if you saw this, but Mel Thomas.
Oh my goodness, yes.
His
Another
wife passing away very unexpectedly. I did a bunch of work with Matt Thomas here the last 2 years in Dirt Track Digest, and when I was getting into doing the video production stuff around here, I'm talking back in 2010, 2011, when I was unsure really what to do or how to go about it, and I was having some troubles with the audio system, putting together the first Metal Destruction. I reached out to Mel and bounced a bunch of questions off of him, and had the good fortune of traveling with him to Genesee Speedway a couple different times this year when they did have races and stuff. And his wife's been sick for a long, long time, and man, you never know. And finally, she had had some issues there with they plugged the stent in to open up a bile duct, and an infection came on, and that was that. So it was really tough to see that one come across the newsfeed as well.
Yeah, I've known Mel forever. He's been involved in racing, for a long time, and pretty much known him since my brother's been involved, which has been early 80s. So, yeah, he's another one, lost his wife of, I believe it was 50 years, 52, 55, something like that. So, yeah, just, the loss this year it just keeps stacking up. Hopefully 2021, I mean, obviously we're not going to wake up January 1st and everything's going to be solved.
It's not a valve.
But
it's not a switch.
Hopefully as the year evolves, things will get better. It's just not been fun.
I talked to Marcella Benjamin. She's checking in. I talked to Tim Clark today, and the conversation was a whole lot of yelling and "Woo," because he was next to what sounded like a 1945 skid steer. I don't know what he was doing, but it was good to catch up with Tim for a little bit. And he sort of said the same thing that I'm running into with a lot of folks that are on the promotion side of things. He said, I got nothing for you. He said, I can come on and we can talk about how miserable this season has been and talk about having no news and everything, or we can just wait. Yeah. And so he goes, it's great to talk to you. It's been fun. I got stuff to do. Call me after the first of the year. So
he's got to be getting ready to go to Michigan snowmobiling. Usually they take the sleds up. And
I didn't even ask him. I didn't even ask him about that.
That might have been what they were doing. They might have been working on sleds.
It could be. I traded some messages with was it Jeffy? It was Jeffy. I was talking with Jeffy, and he's got some big names in Ohio out nosing around the RDP stuff.
Really?
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I thought that was neat.
Nice.
That's kind of waiting out there, so hopefully that kind of thing will at least take off. The realistic Derby project stuff. I don't know if you saw, but the Oldswagen has been fairly well received. The round back.
And Chris Marquardt and team won the big team show over the weekend.
I was a late addition. It was a late addition.
But you walked away with a win, right?
Yes, that was very cool.
Many? What was the team breakdown for cars? Like, what'd you have?
I had an Oldswagen.
What'd your teammate have?
Kyle Homer had an Oldswagen, and John Anderson, JYD 8 Up, he had an Oldswagen, and Nick Embry had an Oldswagen.
Nice.
And we were against a team in the finals that had 3 Oldswagens and an old sedan, just because he wanted to be different. Jesse Myers, the guy who created RDP, he was out there with Dalton Roode, Tyler Reed, and Jesse brought the sedan, so that was very cool. It was much better than the rest of my weekend when I ended up running twice on Friday, Saturdays, a 16 team draw, single elimination. So we didn't get a first round bye, so we had to run round 1. Round 2 we had James Logson and Roger McClaskey, and then round 3 was no walk in the park and to get into the finals, and that's where we met up with Jesse and Dalton. And
did you leave on 3 and junk anybody?
No.
Or
no, they started us nose to nose.
Really?
So there was no
wow
taking off and running for it. It was fun. It was a very intense night. And then last night we had a track that was like an ice track. I just realized that the camera's not even on me and I'm doing all this talking. Scott Kiefer saying, "Hi, Matt Evans. No wonder you won. That was a great team you had." Yeah, I was added to it. The only reason I was on that team is because Spartan James McLean, he couldn't run, so there was an open spot, and they said, "Hey, would you want to?" And I'm like, "No, but okay." Because the last thing I want to do is join this team because these guys are really good. If I join this team and I'm the dead weight, with all the other stuff that we got going on, I don't want to be the problem. But I had a wheel ripped off early on in the feature and just waited for them to do what they do, and the right brakes fell the right way, and those guys picked up a win.
Are the backs clingy on the wagons, or do they?
No.
I was wondering about that.
No, and you can build the backs of those like 3 different ways. They have the options have.
Does it say Ohio style, Minnesota style, and Illinois style?
Not with a single click, no.
All right, just check it.
You can run a half lowered welded tailgate with a window strap in it. So I thought that was very Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
You can run it with the rear end chain down. You can run it with a built 7-stack, 9-stack, or 10-stack for the Leafs. And you can run it with 9-wire in the window, or 2 spots of 9-wire in the window, which sounded very Wisconsin. And then it just there's a way that you could, if you mess around with it enough with the hump plates and stuff on it, you can get it to either pack straight in, or you can get the bumper to flip and get the window to roll up,
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very Ohio thing. So
that is a very Ohio thing.
It's you can get it to do just about what you want it to do, and it doesn't get very clingy. And the other nice thing is not only does it get clingy, when it does get stuck, you can usually get yourself free.
Cool.
It was really exciting. One of our heats, a guy brought I think it was a 02 or 03 frame Ford that was tilted with a creased box body on it, and that gentleman must not have got the memo, because that Vic got just shoved around by the mask, because all the weight stuff's in the game now. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool. It was neat. And while we were waiting in between, we got to watch old heats of Hitman Kyle Homer for when he was running back home in Valentine, Nebraska. So that was fun to watch that. He was on the track with his dad, and we got to watch some clips of that.
That's cool.
He's uploaded tons and tons of videos to YouTube, so you can get on there and you can check out all Kyle's videos, and it's just stock derby like it is here. Mm-hmm. It was exactly the same. Watching that, it was the arena was quite a bit bigger. It was long, but it was also deep. It was like a rodeo arena, so it was real loomy dirt versus the hard pack stuff like what we have at Seneca County. But it was just the same as watching at home. It was cool. real stock stuff.
Stuff bending pretty nice.
Oh yeah, not bending, just falling apart. Like the heat night at Waterloo used to be, where like cars would pull off the track and the trunk was just trailing behind the car or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Frames falling off underneath cars.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember all that good stuff.
Yep. Rob Sitton, Merry Christmas. Hopefully 2021 is better. Thank you. Vito checking in. The wagon is nasty. It's his favorite car right now. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm waiting for the Cadillac. I just want to be able to drive forward.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of rumors going around. I am waiting to sink my teeth into that when I have something to sink my teeth into. Do guys try to pillar park the wagons? Are they a target? Yeah. Oh yeah. And if you run it stock, you can tear the back end of those things apart, just like you could if you remember when Nick Nicastro. Mm-hmm. This was back 2004, 2005 when he brought that Pontiac Safari wagon, mm-hmm. and everybody was trying to get to the pillars, and it only took a couple 2-3 shots, and the sheet metal was falling off, but nothing moved. Mm-hmm. Same thing happens. The video game dynamics don't allow for sheet metal to tear. If they did, they would have what they call nodes when it tears apart, where it would tear and it would want to bend there, and it would become really, really sticky because those nodes start to overlap. So you're not going to get that tear effect like you get in the quarter panel, just like in the shocker as the nose comes up. You're not going to get that fender rip, but I mean you can eat them up, you can tear them apart. There's JJ Doerr just put out some updates for the. I didn't plan on doing this right now, but hey, we're doing just put out some updates for the compact mod that he put together that uses a lot of the same parts. And we ran those Sunday night with Bryson Parker and Jay, and a couple hits in. One guy had I think it was Bryson actually, had his trunk lid falling off and attached in one spot where it was 9 wired in place or welded in place, and the trunk lid just flopping around as he's driving around the track. It was really cool. There was a rear-wheel drive compact that was just released this weekend too, which is really generating a lot of buzz.
AMC, or is it a Mustang?
It's based on a Charger. It's a modified version of like a subframe style car. So with some body tweaking and stuff, it would fit more in the vein of a. I guess it would fit more in the vein of like a Fox body.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't. It doesn't have all of It doesn't have all of the aesthetic accoutrements that you might want to have. But it's a rear-wheel drive compact, and that's what some guys were looking for. I mean, cool. We've seen some rear-wheel drive compacts do okay.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Got to get a Camaro in there or two, and
that I think that's kind of where that's heading with some of the design cues. If you look at the way that the windows and stuff should shape for a Camaro, that it fits there. But right now, it's a rear-wheel drive compact, and it holds its own. So it's just cool to see.
Cool. It's amazing how far that's come. I mean, it's relatively quick development. I mean,
since March, just from where it is. When we had Jesse on the show back in March with Lee, I mean, it's been incredible. The growth and the progress and the reception.
Hard to believe that was March, but I was at home, so I think that was our first show at home. We talked about the RDP. Yeah. You get a computer yet? My wife got a new computer, yes.
Semester's over with.
It is.
I heard that. How'd it go?
She passed both her classes, so
good.
I think everything's in place.
Perfect. That's good to hear. Yep. I was talking to a couple colleagues at school that are in that program as well. I think we got Dustin.
Oh no, she ended up doing a different program. She finished up her original.
Oh, she's already done with the...
She was just finishing up. She didn't finish a degree way back when, so she just finished that degree. She didn't end up going in or doing the one that you guys they'd been offered. So
that's word came out that is going to be all remote for the spring semester already.
Surprise.
Yep, I'm not missing it. Not missing it at all. Dustin Wood's joining us on the phone to talk a little bit about the King of Ohio event that's scheduled and some of the other stuff that he's been up to. Of course, facing some of the same uphill battles that we've discussed here on the Crash Course. And before we get any further along, I just want to apologize to Dustin. Inadvertently, I made a mistake. I had information that I didn't vet last week, and it was not the War Room that was going to have some guests showing up as we announced. So I apologize to Dustin for that, and it got him in some hot water with some friends. So I apologize for that. Of course, I want you to know that it was nothing intentional by any means, and hopefully accept that.
Yeah, that's not a problem, man. I appreciate the apologies.
So Dustin has been very busy, obviously with some of the uncertainty for the early part of 2021. Where are things at with the King of Ohio? How's everything been going?
Everything is full go for us. I mean, we can. I don't think we can bank on COVID going away or staying around. So everything's full go for us. I think by the middle of the summer, where we're at, July 4th weekend, I think there will be enough freedom again to kick the event off. So we're full go here.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. The convention that they have every year for all the county fairs in Ohio, that's been canceled. We talked about some of that stuff is in jeopardy up here because I think ours is further into February, if I remember right.
It's later, a little bit later into the...
relatively late when you figure that they'd only give some of those fairs 3 months to put everything together so that they can get up and running. But well, it's good to hear that it sounds like you guys are going to be relatively unaffected. You had that Prelude show earlier this year in 2020. Did that do what you wanted it to do in terms of getting the word out, getting the attention, and getting people hyped up for the King of Ohio event this year?
Yeah, it really did. We were pretty confident that we could pull that off. We had like a month to announce it and pull it off, and we just felt like with everything getting canceled in Ohio, we could go, right next door to Portland, Indiana, and put a show on and accomplish a couple other things. We were going to give entries out to the King of Ohio, and then we were going to run our format for the first time and display that. We felt like it was just kind of a perfect storm for us to take advantage of that and pay out some really good money. I mean, we paid out $42,500. So, I mean, 2-day show, pay out $42,500, and thought it was really, really successful.
You can't go wrong with that.
No, that's a pretty damn good payout.
We had talked about it, but I guess I didn't realize that you were paying out that big of a purse. But I gotta believe that when you dangle that kind of carrot out there in a year like what we've had this year, you're gonna draw cars. Tim said that he had up in the 270 plus car count for the last show that he had this year.
Oh, I believe it.
And out of what do they usually have? 40. Let's just spitball 45 shows typically booked. Mm-hmm. They only got 4 off the ground.
Wow.
That's
insane.
There was only 15 county fairs that ran in Ohio. Only 15 county fairs.
And some of the speedways are asking such crazy money that you can't go to the tracks. Around here, at least some of the tracks were willing to work with us, but in Ohio they weren't having any luck along those lines either. And that kind of forced you guys to look outside. How easy was it to uproot everything that you had planned with these routes in Ohio and move it to Indiana essentially in 30 days?
Well, for us, it wasn't too difficult. We had some relationships over there. Daryl Muldoon had a hand in putting that show on, and his crew. So I mean, they were awesome. The fair board's pretty easy to work with. As you see, there's a bunch of big derbies going on over there, and we went and talked and discussed the show like that 3 or 4 years ago because we knew about the venue. I grew up 30 minutes from there, so I was very familiar with the venue, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was very stressful being that we were going to put on a 2-day show and pay out that kind of money. And to get all that organized in 30 days was a tall task, but we knew we felt confident that if we pulled that off, I think that would answer a lot of questions of anytime you pay big money, people are always like, well, where are you getting the money at?
Right.
Well, don't worry about where we're getting the money at. The money, it's there, okay? Like, I don't need to show you my bank account. So, we felt like that was a big deal. And then it was a big deal with the format, running that format for the first time and displaying it before the King of Ohio. So,
yeah, I've seen some stuff on Facebook about it. I see Ziz and Toby are both entered, so I'm going to say it's going to be hard to beat those two in the feature. There's a good chance they'll run it right down to the end. They'll be there at the end, but you know, that's a great idea. I mean, there's a lot of good guys in Ohio, and you know, I think this is going to be a great show.
Where am I placing the name Daryl Muldoon from?
Derby Sharks, Tony Godwin, Luke Klein. Mm-hmm. They ran out in Vegas. And I think they ran down south in Florida.
Right. Yep. I almost think that there's a connection that goes further back than that, but I can't place why. It's standing out in my mind. But it's nonetheless, you know, you keep some pretty good company.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And I like what you did with the prelude, with the big money, and you know, the whole thing about where's the money come from. We print our own. Shut up. You know what I mean?
We got a really good color printer. We're good to go.
Be careful with the pay window being still wet. You know, get over yourselves. The money's the money. It's coming. But that's one of those questions that Demolition Derby always brings upon itself, that kind of punches the hole right away. The balloon's not even off the ground yet. We already poke some holes in it.
Yeah.
But what Dustin and the crew was able to do with this was they took an opportunity. Essentially, Demolition Derby was in a vacuum. So all those questions about where's the money going to come from, I'm not going to run it the first time through because I don't know what an inspection's going to be like. I don't know what's going to get through. I just want to sit back and watch. They took care of it already. Mm-hmm. Before they even got to the big stage that they wanted to get to with the King of Ohio stuff, they put the prelude out there, just say, this is how we're going to do it. If you like it, great. If not, now we got all this time to tinker with it and fix it and button up those loose ends before you get there. And I thought that was a great move.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it's always good to you know, to get the product out there, and then you know, everybody's kind of able to see what's going on and how it works, and then you know, if there is an issue or two, which inevitably there usually is. I mean, you know, it's hard to have, you know, not have a hiccup. You know, it just doesn't happen all that often. But you know, now you have a little bit of time, and you know, this year the big show will be you know, it's going to be really good.
Got a couple of people in the live chat asking about classes. Can you give us a rundown of what we're going to see?
Yeah, so you're going to see, I guess if I want to talk about classes, let's talk about how you qualify for these specific classes first. Anything over a street stock at a county fair qualified for one main class. That would be the King of Ohio class that pays $10,000 to win. And then anything, let's say if they did have a street stock at a particular event and they had a build that was higher than that, then there was a street stock class, there was a front wheel drive class, there was a trucks class, and a youth class. So you qualified for the particular class that you ran. So now next question will probably be, you know, if I ran mini trucks, you're not running mini trucks. Well, if you won a mini truck class, we let you pick any class that you would like to run that is not the main class. So you can't just jump into the 10K to win class, but you can run the front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, the compacts, mods, or the trucks, and you can choose one of those to hop in.
As a promoter, is the $10,000 payday, is that still special or unique, or do you start fielding more questions about what fifth pays or how far back you pay when you put that $10,000 number on the top?
Well, honestly, I don't think it's about the money at all. I think I could have paid $5,000 to win this event. It's really about being crowned the King of Ohio. And I think that became evident like later on in the year as we went through this, when you guys mentioned the names like Ziz, Toby, Bronze, Penwells, Allens, you know, Heinens, everybody was getting in. And they were determined to get in. They weren't just running those shows, I mean, you know, just to run them. I mean, Ziz specifically, you know, I haven't seen him running in a long time around home. And, you know, he came out, and I got from Ziz about what you get from Ziz. He said he wasn't sure if he was going to run his car that night. And I said, well, I'll run it. And Ziz kind of laughed and said, well, I guess I got to qualify for that event. So I'll take that as an honor from Ziz.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was funny when at the Keystone National, Ziz is one of the inspectors for Iron City, and Toby had just finished the car up and was literally sleeping in the car as he was coming up and he had his daughters with him, and to hear those guys just talk back and forth a little bit in the history. Right. We've hounded Toby for years at Blizzard Bash to try to just come out and tell some stories.
Not just there.
Yeah, well, I mean,
all over.
But we've hounded him to try to come in. But I mean,
we've literally chased him across the country.
And it's just the history, and the Penwells. That's another name that we've gotten to know, and the Bronze, and it is. I mean, that's a big derby. I mean, Ohio is. A lot of times the Midwest. People talk about it a lot, but I mean, you look at the names that come out of Ohio and run in Ohio and are successful. And it's hard to beat that group of drivers. I mean, it really is. So, it's definitely. I mean, it's a big title, and it's I could see this Derby, getting very big and going for a long time, and it being one of those destinations. Drivers going to want to win it. You're going to want to have that name. I mean, it's something very cool.
The other thing that it taps into that whole county fair deal where you won't miss your county fair no matter what's going on that weekend.
Yeah,
it could be 10,000 wind down the road, but you're going to beat your county fair because of all the bragging rights and stuff, and jumping on that I don't know, I guess maybe jumping on that little bit of ego and capitalizing on that with a title just as simple as the King of Ohio. I think you're going to draw a lot of people out of the woodwork too.
Yeah, I think what's neat about it is we mentioned the names, the bigger names that are known, but I'm telling you guys, going around to these county fairs and knowing some of these guys, there are some bad dudes that don't, have names necessarily tied to them, that they're going to make their name for them at the King of Ohio, and people are going to recognize. I mean, there's a guy in the truck class, James Reddick, that he's won 19 derbies in a row at one time, and 40 or 41. So, I mean, nobody knows that name in the truck, outside of, Ohio in the truck class, but this dude doesn't, he's lost one derby in 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
That's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. The only thing, if I was a promoter, I think the main class would be called the Ohio Build class, because whatever rules you have, they're going to become Ohio built. So, I think I probably would have called the main class, or the 10 Ohio built, and then have a special set of inspectors for those guys, because it's going to take longer, and the reinspection. But and of course we say that with all the love and the respect. But it's just crazy. We go to Bash and the stand and watch, and it wasn't too bad. The guy's got a full sheet of paper on the front of the back. It's not too bad. We'll get that fixed quick. And I'm just like, whoa. But that's Ohio building, so it's going to be cool.
They have something like that in Utah. The truck division under Stern Dirt. It's organized by a couple of the drivers that are going to be there, and all the trucks come, and everybody looks at each other's trucks all at the same time. They decide how they're going to split the money up, whether it's going to be everybody takes a little bit home or whatever, and all that is decided before they come onto the track, so that way there's no complaining or anything afterwards.
Nice.
Everybody's already looked at everybody else's stuff. They have a sort of a class organizer more than a class official.
That's cool.
It's really neat the way that they do it, and that's. I don't know though if it would work with the Ohio style stuff, because you're not going to let anybody get close enough to each other's cars.
Yeah, it'd be neat.
But so you're keeping yourself busy with other stuff too, with War Room and the podcast that you guys have going out there. How's all that going?
Well, I tell you what, War Room isn't like a weekly podcast like you guys do. It's just we have it to have people on and when they want to come on. But, it's hard to get people on there and talk. People don't want to say the wrong things.
Sure.
And, you know the struggle of that. But the Derby world wants to hear from everyone. And, so that's why we kind of introduced that. We've got some names on there. And we look to have some more people on there in the future. As this King of Ohio takes off, that'll be something that we want the guys to do.
I think you've done a wise move there, because you've now built yourself a venue to promote your Derby. It's a good move. And I didn't catch that gentleman's name that you said that won 19 straight in the truck division.
James Redditt.
See, those are the kind of names that we have a little bit lost touch on, and I want to get back out our way, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Allentown, Lonnie Beeler is that same guy, and he was. I say was only because I don't know if any of the Allentown guys are tuned in and listening or go back in hindsight to find it. I don't know if he's still active, but he told me a story one time. He had a stub of a cigar about that long because he chews on the cigar, Bill Trout style, chews on the cigar while he's driving with his big open face helmet and everything, and he drives these box body Dodges. And he says, "Yeah, that frame's had," and he gave you the number. He goes, "I've gone through 4 or 5 bodies on that frame, but the frame's still fine."
Yeah, we've heard those stories.
We're talking like Kutztown and Allentown and Reading and Kempton, places. I don't even know if Kempton still has a derby anymore. Mike Rawzon and was the guy that was doing those derbies out there and went down and taped a couple times. Brent Kirschner is another driver from down that way who, I mean, he had some battles with Ramrod Carl Schaller, compact guy, and he branched into the full size a couple times. And Mike Klinger showed up down there with a Galaxy a couple times on alcohol with, I think it was a 360 Mopar engine in it. You just go to these little tiny county fairs and you see some of this crazy stuff show up that's no big deal, and just the stories behind it and the family legacy and stuff that goes with it and how far back it goes. And
you know who I would think would be like that around here would have been Chuck Chapman. Because whenever Chuck showed up, Chuck always drove hard. It wasn't fancy, but he was always there at the end. Like Chuck Chapman was never out first or second car.
Right.
I mean, he was always there at the end, and you always had to contend with him. You know, I mean, he was one of those guys, and he did his fair share of winning. But I mean, if you were to show he was that, you were going to have to contend with him. You know, I mean, he was that was Chuck.
Alex Sager's got a question. He's a New York driver. What if he went to Ohio and won a county fair? Would he be eligible to run in the King of Ohio event?
Well, I don't know if he's talking about next year or this year, but if he won this year, then yes, he's in, and we probably have reached out to him. If not, then just have him reach out to us. But if he won a county fair that did not run in 2020, and then he's also in. So if you won a county fair in 2019 that did not run in 2020, we went back a year because, like I said, there's only 15 county fairs that ran out of the 88 counties in Ohio. We went back a year and gave winners only to those classes.
Can you imagine the blood in the water if one New York driver showed up in Ohio?
That driver's not winning.
Hey, now, I don't think that's the case. Because the way we run our format, there's no team. It's not a team event, and it can't be a team event because you're drawing 2 numbers, and if you beat those 2 guys, you're moving on. And so there's not like 5 or 6 guys you would have to beat. So I mean, yeah, I would like to see him try his hand at it.
There you go, Alex. He just qualified. It was a hypothetical.
Yeah.
I think he's planning for 2021, looking
absolutely.
way down the line.
Shot, Give it a shot.
Well, and also, hey, we're not stopping in Ohio. So we're going to take this. Yeah, we started in Ohio, but we're going to take this to other states. So we know we're not going to do it alone, taking it to other states. But you know, the full the reason why we started this was to organize the sport and create a hierarchy and establish a true champion of the sport. And the only way to do that is to have a hierarchy, you know, and get rid of the teaming and get rid of the sandbagging. And, you know, the format encompasses that. And then the King of Ohio being the next step, I think, gets truly the best of the best on the same stage for the first time ever in the state of Ohio.
That's cool. Guy Raymond just checked in. What about the Howe family? They have some legacy in New York?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
Jesse was always there at the end. Always.
Well, this is hearkening back to a day gone for New York anyway, with the New York State Fair Championships that was overseen by JM Productions and Dirt Motorsports, now Dirt Car, for a period at the Syracuse Fairgrounds, where if you won your county fair, then that puts you automatically eligible into the state fair championship, the state championship held at the New York State Fair. Now there's an alternate state championship that's held out in Western New York. It doesn't have the same allure, the same draw that people are accustomed to. When it was in Syracuse, it was the middle for everybody, and it was easy for everybody to get to. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be an event that runs under rules that you have or under necessarily your promotion's banner. It's any county fair that happens in the state of Ohio. So when you branch out to other places, you could have a mishmash. Like in New York, you've got Total Destruction, you've got independent county fairs, you've got JM still has a force spinning, building up to Spinning Wheels, King Smash 'em, Crash 'em, Stony Roberts,
King's Old School.
Kings of Old School. Does he have a county fair? Or is it standalone?
Well, they were gonna have that show in Cobleskill.
But was that the county fair?
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm not for sure. In any case, so when you look at that, anybody, if this were to occur in New York, then anybody that was at any of those shows, as long as it was a county fair, would be eligible, right? Under whatever banner it might be?
Yeah, that is correct. So what we chose to do is we chose to invest in the county fairs as well as the promoters that are putting on the shows, and kind of help them out. If you got interest, if you're a promoter, and part of the deal is getting cars, well, you're going to get cars because there's going to be people that are qualified, for the King of Ohio, right? As this takes off, and so it is an investment, by us to the county fairs and the current promoters that are out there in Ohio. So absolutely.
It's kind of like
drivers start sending your names in.
It's kind of like the original Dent, because in order to run a Dent show, you had to have a feature win from the prior year.
Yeah.
That was any feature win. But I think it's a great idea. And you brought up the state fair, and it's. I really miss that. I mean, I drove in it a couple times and went and watched, and I wish that
everybody hated it, but nobody gave the paperwork back.
Yeah. Well, up until the last few years, I mean, it was the year or two that Dirt had it. It was an incredible show. It really was. I mean, Imperials and just. But I mean, even when Jam had it, when we ran it before it became into basically a comeback show, I mean. People bitched, but people always bitch. But I mean, it was funny. We talking about this now. Last week or 2 weeks ago, Brett sent me a picture of me standing in front of that Cordoba the first time I ran it. And the nerves. I mean, it was awesome. It really was. And it was names you'd heard from all over. You were going to be on the track with, and it's just. I wish something like this would hit New York. It would be cool. To try to be involved again. But like I said, it's good to see that guys are stepping up to help and to try to build to another level. So
I think it's outstanding.
Yeah, it's great to see,
and it is a lot of thankless dedication that's going to go into putting this together and making sure that you reach out to everybody. And it's no small investment to get all those letters mailed, and that's one of the nice things about social media now, is you can jump on Facebook and have a whole lot easier chance of running somebody down in Ohio to make that contact versus trying to send something to a guess of an address or whatever. That's something that was certainly missing from 20 years ago when the state fair was in its heyday. I think it's outstanding. The whole thing front to back is a really cool concept, and you don't necessarily have to live in Ohio to qualify for one of the events. And so by eliminating a lot of the teaming stuff, I think you're going to have a lot more people from out of town that express their interest in running it long term. And I'm excited. I want to hear more about it as we get closer and as you get your entry list starting to take more final form.
Yeah, I would love to come back on. I know we're running out of time here probably, and you're probably saying, hey, we got to move on. But I want to throw something at you guys. I want to throw like a hypothetical. So in a heat, let's say that Scott Zizelman pulls to the track and draws Trent Braun and Tony Pinwell. I mean, what kind of electricity is that going to generate?
Yeah, that would be nasty.
And it's just those three, right? It's those three.
Yeah, those three. So there's only one coming out of that heat. I mean, more than likely all three in wagons.
That's nasty.
Right?
How awesome would that be? Holy cow! And what if all three bronze drew the same heat? Or what if three of the bronze drew the same heat?
I don't.
Josh, Joey, Trent, they all end up in the same heat. What would that be like?
So we do have a clause in here that you get to pick one person that you can choose not to run against, but that person also has to pick you. So all four. Let's say all four bronze show up. There's only two that are one other bronze that you can guarantee that you don't run against. But the likelihood, I did the numbers. The likelihood of drawing somebody like that is like 2%. It's really slim. So you don't really want to see them draw each other, but it's it's a random draw.
Yeah.
I would rather see bronze draw, like a Heinen.
I'd like to see a Heinen and a Braun out there. That'd be fun.
Man, maybe Randy Hiley would have to come out of retirement
for
the king. We have to push Toby out of the seat, jump in there, and give it a go. But yeah, that's very cool.
Toby's actually inspecting for us. He qualified, but he's our head inspector, so he's definitely not running.
Oh, that's too bad. It was cool. I've seen Toby run a couple times, and I got to see him run, like I said, at Keystone this year, and my son got to see him. That was the first big shows that I could went to. So, he saw Toby's car before, and he saw how he's like, Dad, that car's tough. And I'm like, oh yeah, that car's real tough. So it was cool to see. I mean, that was a good show, and this sounds like this is going to be a good show as well. So it'll be very cool.
Hey, and last thing, guys, we are. I want to throw this out there. We're starting on a 1965 Chrysler Imperial as a raffle car. And how we're doing sponsorships is I put together a kind of like a value pack of what you get for sponsorship. It's a really neat deal. I think there's a lot of value there for different tiers. But how we're doing that is we're taking like the MSRP of a particular item, let's say a motor or whatever, and we're just going to fill the raffle car up with brand new parts, and that'll be a raffle. So you'll have a 1965 Chrysler Imperial that you can buy a ticket to that has all the goodies in it. And, you not only do you get to run it and prove that maybe you're the king of Ohio, but you get to take it home with you. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Especially that sells some tickets.
I think so.
Yeah, no one's ever did an Imperial raffle car, so that I know of at least around here. So we're really excited to get. It was my driver, so.
Oh no!
That's a dedicated promoter right there, man.
You're going the wrong way with this. You had me till that.
Yeah, when I bought it, the guy told me, this better not get derbied. Oh, sir, it will not get derbied, I promise. And I had every intention of it not getting derbied, but, it's just like it's sitting in the driveway. I think that's it. That's the raffle car.
Wow.
Everybody that's built a car has told that little white lie at one point or another. No, sir, I'm not. I'm going to restore this. I had the first car just like this, and I'm going to restore it.
I'm having trouble keeping consciousness over here. this is a good.
Oh goodness!
I'm pretty sure that mine's been smashed.
Think so?
Yeah.
Your Imperial or your 300?
My Imperial. I know both of my New Yorkers were. I have pictures. I knew that when those were sold, but the Imperial went to Scott Grove, and he was going to put it back together. And when he bought it, I was ready to pay him to take the spare parts I'd accumulated just to have the space back in the garage. It's like, here, I'm pretty sure this will fit. What is it? I have no idea how it goes. But he did the same thing. He got everything there, and he got looking at it, and he goes, "What have I gotten myself into?" And he sold it, and it went to Massachusetts, and he said it was near Boston, but it was another city out towards the coast that started with a B. So my mind immediately went to Brockton and assumed that a Bucknam got their hands on it, and it has no. It's been divided up into multiple Hyundais by now.
That's funny. Yeah, good chance.
Yep. Well, is there anything else any place that the folks can go on social media online to find out more dates, locations, things of that nature?
Yeah, you can go to our website, Triple D Promotions, or our Facebook page, and we're constantly updating those two. We just put out, actually, there's a last chance qualifier that we're doing, and we need to fill a couple more spots in those classes. How that works is the entry is not, see, all those entries for the King of Ohio are free. These entries aren't free.
Okay.
You have to pay, it's $150 for any of the filler classes. I say filler in a, parentheses, not really filler when you're running against the best of the best in that class, but you have to pay $150 or $250 for the main class, and then you got to run a heat prior to the show, and there's some pretty familiar names that have signed up for that that you guys, I think, would be real excited about.
Okay, go on.
Cool.
Save it for another time. With all the wins that he got this year, John Shipley's eligible, right?
Yeah, John's in. Absolutely. John's in like 4 times over.
There's that Santel guy, too. He won a few shows.
It was...
Not in Ohio. I was hoping Santel pulled one off in Ohio, but he did not. He didn't run one in Ohio, so he hasn't signed up for the last chance qualifier, so if he's listening, maybe we can get him to twist his arm to get him to sign up.
I think if we talk to I think his crew chief is the one you got to convince, because I think when she makes her mind up, that's how the team goes. So you might want to work on the crew chief.
Yeah, we'll send a message out to Jody and try to get that worked out.
Justin Riley's looking for some shows. Greg Estes is in here talking about... I misunderstood. I got you now. Justin Riley isn't looking for bigger shows. It was the other way around. But nonetheless, Alex Vasco just checked in. Alex is watching. Guy Raymond, he's still tuning in. Good to see everybody so busy here on a Monday night, hanging out with us for a little bit. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show. For sure, when's the next War Room?
It'll be coming up. We're going to have one just kind of hyping those scenarios out that we put out. Probably within a month, we'll get on there with a couple guys and knock one out, put it out within the next month.
Awesome. Well, we wish you guys the best with that, of course, and then certainly keep us posted as things evolve for the King of Ohio event. Sounds like it's going to be a great one.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for your time, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. We'll talk to you soon,
one.
Dustin.
All right, see you.
See you now. It was Dustin Wood, Triple D Promotions, King of Ohio, coming up 2021. I know everybody's looking forward to that one.
Man, that stinks. Toby won't be running. It's always good when he's running.
Why does that always happen?
Oh, I mean, if you're gonna bring in my humble opinion, if you're gonna bring a head inspector, and he's got to have a lot of experience, and he's got to be a top tier builder. You don't get more experience and more of a top tier builder than Toby Hiley.
True.
So
I mean, he's gonna know what to look for.
I'd never forget one of the first years we went to Bash for Cash. Toby was in the 80s in Newer line, and I was standing over at the Old Iron line, because to me Old Iron's just more exciting. And Toby and this guy are talking, and Toby's kind of tapping on the trunk, and the guy's shaking his head, and they're kind of talking back and forth. And Toby asks, I couldn't hear, but you could kind of tell, and Toby kind of shakes his head and goes back and gets a drill and comes back with a drill and a drill bit, starts drilling, and it didn't go through the trunk lid quite as easy as it should have. So, he just knew that something wasn't right in that spot. And, that just comes with years of experience and years of knowing how stuff is built. And so it was funny to watch from afar.
That was one of the things that always impressed me with Ben, too, is we could be walking around, and he would just go tap on something. And he could tell by the tone, not just what was going on, but, what the material was and everything. And that ear or that eye, whichever way you want to look at it, that Toby's got for that particular part of the inspection game. It's a good one to have on the side of the good guys, right?
Definitely. I mean, good guys if you're with a promoter, but bad guys if you're a driver. So, and the good thing with Toby though is I like I said, I've been around him a lot in Topeka. he's very willing to help. He doesn't just, he doesn't take it as an insult. Hey, I understand, but we can't, do this to fix it. And he's, very open to helping. So that's that helps a lot.
Sure. Hey, Justin Aldrich. Happy holidays to you, Justin. Good to hear from you. Scott Kiefer. Merry Christmas to.
Not that it's Derbian, but have you seen the Hangover double shot is filling up at Canandaigua?
It was filling up 2 weeks ago. I think they had
100. They're like 140 for entries now.
Yeah, they're at 125. They released the name of entry number 125 a couple weeks back.
I know Justin and Jamie Jr. are running.
Good.
There's a bunch of local names running. So
Alex Vasco, he posted a shameless plug. All For Him Racing is running a fundraiser waffle now until Christmas. Visit All For Him Facebook for details.
Cool.
Why not, right?
Alex
I heard one time
dude.
because it does not affect your success helping others with
True.
theirs.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So what else is going on, Chris Marquardt?
Well, Smash It Demolition Derbies is still waiting to release schedules and figure everything out. Like I said, I talked with Tim earlier today. We're going to try and get him on the show. As we've said a couple weeks over now that we're trying to get him on, and he finally just said enough after the first of the year. Leave me alone. So big thanks out to everybody who supported Smash It Demolition Derbies through challenging and unprecedented times this season. We couldn't do it without the support of all the drivers, fans, fair boards, and partners year after year. With all sincerity, thank you. Upcoming events are going to be listed online, smashitderby.com. Big thanks to everybody who worked with Smash It as well, helping make things possible. Just to name a few. Am I interrupting you? I was trying to keep eye contact because I figured you were going to catch the names that I missed. But
go ahead. Sorry, usually when you're off screen, I can check them. You sit there on your computer and look, and I have to look at my phone. So when I'm not on, I can do it. Sorry, don't.
Just everybody is in the Smash It family that helps make it possible with everybody. Candace and everybody out there in Topeka and Fatty and Billy and everybody that makes it happen when they're running all over creation in Ohio. But for sure, big thanks out to everybody who made that one possible. Let's see, what else we got? No Mercy coming up. Tables, Ladders, and Chairs was last night. I don't know what Deadman and TJ would try to do with a name like Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, but just throwing it out there. Get the wheels turning there.
Maybe you could carry a chair with you, and if you get close enough, you can smack somebody out the window with it.
Well, there's no such thing as a bad idea, but there's ideas that won't be used. Friday is the 3-man compact E80s Pro Stock, as well, half-ton trucks and SUVs. Also on Friday. Saturday is the Last Chance events, Youth Compact Division, paying $800 to win, the Imperials $2,000 to win. Minivan, truck, and mini SUV, $1,200 to win, full-size, team one-on-one. Deadman Compacts, 70s and 80s Pro Stocks, paying $8,000 to win. 3-man compact team feature, $6,000 to win. Full-size Mercenaries, that's a one and done. $3,000 to win. Online, deadmanderby.com. That's No Mercy coming up in spring 2021. Cumberland, Maryland, the site of that one. We did those. Hoping here by the first of the year we're going to be able to renew a couple of these and keep telling you about the stuff that's been going on and bring some new folks into the fold too. There's been some conversations happening that we're looking once we get into 2021. Jeffy's Fab Farm recognized as an industry leader, and we're drawing to the close on our deal with Jeffy right now. It's a little sad to see that one go. Should probably get on the phone.
I would call him Jeffy. I'd call him now, and he's listening on his
headphones.
He's
listening welding right now, and he's probably scrambling to
get his last 1,000 headers out for the season.
Part of he helped us get the Crash Course Nationals off the ground.
Yeah,
his help was a huge boost to help get that thing going and help make it possible for an online video game tournament to have a $5,000 real cash purse that was paid out. And we can't say thanks. Can't say thanks enough to everybody to help make that possible. With the Iron City Nationals and Iron City Promotions were involved with that one. Of course, Smash It Demolition Derbies, Smith Metal Works. We'll be telling you about them again in a minute here. Recognized an industry leader in all manner of fabrication needs. Jeffy's Fab Farm, national go-to for a number of demolition derby parts. The Fab Farm specializes in LS conversion components, but earned major derby cred for the various header offerings. The Fab Farm just released a solid 4-cylinder Camry engine mount Hyundai this summer. Hyundai Elantra headers came out as well. Bumper-to-bumper selection, including fuel and air parts, suspension and transmission items, steering components, pedal shifters, switches, and gauges. If you need it, it's on the farm, jeffriesfabfarm.com. Smith Metalworks, all-purpose fabrication shop that has taken the Northeast by storm. Oh boy. We got more stuff coming out here. Pointies, tailgates, and driver's doors coming out from Larry Sullivan. I'm not really sure what that's. I'm not sure if that's a holiday wish or what that is. Dustin Wood should have plugged the stuff. They're talking to each other. They're not even talking to us. Back to what we're doing. The hallmark of the product line is the pointed and flat front bumpers. The super stock bumper is the one that you don't want to miss over there at Smith Metalworks. 40 years of combined metalworking experience. They can be stuffed or ran hollow. There's a compact version of the pointed bumper that you want to get your hands on, too, for all you W-body guys. Other items include the Crown Vic door scans, battery boxes, engine mounting systems, and pedal combos and shifters. The shop offers all the odds and ends as well, distributor clamps, weld-in centers. Be sure to ask about the GM floor liners. You can pick it up in person, Mercer, Uniontown, Bethlehem, PA, or have it shipped to your door, smithmetalworks.info online. So, there's that. What else we got?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah? Calling it good there?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully everybody gets a chance to just relax and count your blessings and enjoy your family, because tomorrow's never guaranteed.
Boy, if we've learned anything, that tomorrow is fleeting.
Yeah, it's
Fatty's doing well, by the way. I did
good. I've chatted with him back and forth a little bit, and I'm glad to hear that. Snappy. Fatty's a good dude. It's I've read it on Jody Gully's post a bunch, and she always talks about making memories, and tomorrow's never guaranteed. And I think if there's one thing that everybody has to take from this year, it's that nothing's we're never guaranteed tomorrow.
Right.
Tell your loved ones you love them, and enjoy each other, and if it's not going to matter in 5 minutes, then don't let it bother you.
Right.
Don't sweat the small stuff. We've all been through a lot this year, and let's try to have a happy holiday, and hopefully March or April things will start getting better.
Awesome. Well, we sure do appreciate everybody tuning in for. Must be you're done with that. Tuning in for episode number 335. I anticipate we'll probably be back for one more before the end of the year. Maybe we'll try and round up some of your thoughts on the live chat, some of your favorite memories from 2020. What few shows we were able to get in. There were some good ones out there nonetheless. Looking forward to it. We will see everybody again next time here. Oh, for the first time tonight, we were featured mainstream live on FingerLakes1.com. Live as the show happened tonight. I should have done this at the beginning of the show. As we begin matriculating stuff from FingerLakes1.com TV over to FingerLakes1.com, Crash Course will now be featured on the main page as a live show that happens in stream, not just on FingerLakes1.tv. We're talking 98,000 people were on the site today. So that was kind of cool that the stuff's shifting over. And we got a whole bunch of new eyes, hopefully, that are going to be tuning into the show and checking out what we're about. And even if they don't, we're going to still be here for you weekly in the studio and on Facebook. For all the folks that tune in for the MP3, we are using Anchor, so that's pushing out to iTunes. It's pushing out to Spotify. Every place that you go for your podcast, it's still going to be there. So that won't change anything, but it's just a little bit different.
Are we on iHeartRadio?
We should be. We should be.
Awesome.
We should be. We were at one point. I don't know why we wouldn't be, but
I've never done any. I've never looked up any of the MP3 stuff, but it's cool to think we're on all that stuff out there.
Yep, it's on that stuff too. So once again, we appreciate it, everybody. Have a great Christmas. Have a great holiday. We will see you before the new year. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com.
and Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah, online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.